As you know, the Asian American population has exploded in this past decade. More people are recognizing the importance and influence of this great Asian community. This year's offer a list of individuals who have made an impact in arts, business, government, politics, social work, education, judiciary, and areas that influence every aspect of Georgians' daily lives.
That's right. The number of Asian American and Pacific Island voters has more than doubled. In fact, it was the largest increase of any group in voter turnout in the last two elections.
Wow, big round of applause.
And that was due in large part to many people in this room. So what a more special and fun way to celebrate it tonight. So just some quick statistics. In 2016, there were 19,000 AAPI voters to almost 40,000 in 2020. And nearly a third of those voters live in Gwinnett. Right where we are today. So that's about 6% of the total voting population in 2016 to more than 9% in 2020.
Wow.
9%, congratulations. And early AAPI voting turnout was 91%. So on early voting and election day. So that helped change, as we all know, the landscape and the environment and the atmosphere in Georgia. So what a great community, and we look forward to honoring everyone tonight.
That's right, and I want to make sure that people know who this lady is that's standing next to me. She is a great Asian American. Give her a big round of applause. Sarah, let me tell you. She was appointed by the governor, ladies and gentlemen, as special master for the Georgia Commission on Equal Opportunity. That's the equivalent of an administrative judge who conducts hearings and issues written opinions. This lady right here, Sarah Hamilton, again, give her a big round of applause.
That's very nice of you guys, but we're here to celebrate our wonderful honorees. And if you want to know, honestly, who the most connected person in this community is, I've actually determined it's Vince, because he's been hosting this for how many years now?
It's been a long time. It goes back to ancient China.
I don't know how the heck I ended up here, but we will try to make it fun. I don't have as good a voice as him, but we will try to make it fun.
Listen, I am number 26, ladies and gentlemen, out of 25, so I don't care what nobody say. Thank you, Lee. This year's list is made by none other than Lee and the Georgia Asian Times staff, the editorial staff, and a selection committee, Sarah, that comprises of community, civic, and media representatives. A total of over 250 online nominations have been received for this year.
That's a very large number. So tonight we see many familiar faces and many familiar names, new ones. And our group consists of 15 women and 10 men. So we hope everyone is excited to meet them.
15 women and 10 men. Fellas, come on, you gotta step up. That's all right, congratulations, ladies. Well now, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to ask everyone to please stand. And I'd like to ask the lovely Evie Yang, would you please come to the stage? Gentlemen, put your hands together for the publisher of the Georgia-Asian-Times, Mr. Lee Wong.
We gotta give a big hand to Miss Sarah Hamilton and Vince Bailey, 26. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Georgia-Asian-Times signature event of the year. We are very pleased in this evening to have several distinguished guests. I'd like to take a moment to welcome them and also to join us on the busy schedule. We have in the House Representative Calvin Bordeaux, U.S. House of Representatives, District 7. We have an important guest flying all the way from Houston, Texas to escape the heat. Bob Andre Omar Siriga, Consul General of the Republic of Indonesia. And we have Director General Elliot Wen from TECO Atlanta. And we have the Deputy Consul General of Japan, Mr. Mamoru Fukunaga. Ask him about Tokyo Olympics. And we have the Mayor of Doraville, Joseph Greer joining us. Thank you also to Farmers Basket, MBM Logistics International. Sailor Meal, We Love Buhai for the platinum sponsorship. And thank you for the attention and do enjoy the evening. And please, I'm sorry if I left out some very important people in the room. Forgive me. I'm getting old. I do my best. So enjoy the evening. Thank you.
It is. U.S. Representative Carol Bordeaux, our representative to the U.S. House of Representatives, District 7.
Yes.
And we are very pleased to have her. She does not need an introduction, but just in case you wonder now why we threw in all those random voting statistics, now you know why. Thanks for listening to all of our voting statistics, Representative. With that being said, please give a warm welcome to Representative Carol Bordeaux, U.S. House of Representatives.
My representative.
Well, good evening. I don't know if I can be quite as spicy as these guys are, so they're a hard act to follow. But thank you all so much for giving those statistics. And I would say that there are many people in this room who were responsible for this huge increase in turnout and engagement in the Asian American community. And one of your honorees tonight is Cam Ashland, who's the Asian American Action Fund. And so who I know very personally. And one of the stories is that I was doing a presentation and she came up to me and she said, you know, I'm going to need some of your walk cards. And if you don't know what those are the little cards, you know, that the candidates stick in your door. And so I, looked in my pocketbook and I had maybe 10 or something like that, and I handed them to her and she goes, that is not going to be enough. I'm going to need the whole box. And so probably about 10,000 walk cards later, and we saw this enormous surge in engagement because of the efforts of people like Cam and because of the efforts of so many of you all in the room. My statistic in the 7th district, so I represent Gwinnett and Forsyth counties, and that went from 7% AAPI vote share in 2016 to 11%. It's a 150% increase in voter registration in my district in the AAPI community. It has been an honor to represent you all, to get to know the very diverse communities of the Asian American community in Gwinnett. And I'm very honored to be here tonight and consider many of the honorees, not just Cam, but many of you I know so well, and am so appreciative of your engagement in the community. There is J.T. Wu, who has been out there working on Preface, which is a literacy, and so really took that under his wing, founded that nonprofit. You have Victoria Hun, was one of the first people I called. She runs a nonprofit, and I'm sure you'll hear her story, to do outreach to the immigrant communities in Gwinnett and DeKalb, to this area. And when COVID happened, and I'd been elected, and we were tackling that crisis, called her and had these conversations about how do we do better outreach to the immigrant communities. How do we get out there and do it? So there is so much talent and so much capacity represented in the room, and I'm so glad to be here with you. The 7th District is one of the most diverse districts in the country, and we are so fortunate to have this very vibrant Asian American community, and it's such a source of talent and generosity, and has shown such strength and resilience. When I was elected to Congress, one of the first things I did was join the Congressional Asian Pacific American Caucus, KPAC, which is a nonpartisan and bicameral group dedicated to representing the well-being of the Asian American Pacific Islander community. Early in my tenure with this caucus, my colleagues and I grappled with the Atlanta spa shootings, which hit very, very close to home for me, and I'm sure for many of us. So in the weeks after that, I co-led a resolution condemning those shootings, reaffirming the House of Representatives' commitment to combating hate, bigotry, and violence against the AAPI community. With anti-Asian hate on the rise, I also supported and co-sponsored and led the effort for the COVID-19 Hate Crimes Act, which passed the House, the Senate, and was later signed into law by President Biden. This bill would enhance the Department of Justice review of COVID-19 related hate crimes, which, as we know too well, have increased dramatically over the past year and a half, particularly targeting our nation's AAPI communities. Our country is and has always been a nation of immigrants. We each bring different stories, experiences, and talents, but together we are one. And an attack on any of us is an attack on all of us, and we have to recognize that. While Georgia continues to mourn the lives lost, leaders like the ones in this room are helping us all to honor their memories in service and togetherness. When I was reading through the biographies of tonight's honorees, I was struck by the entrepreneurial spirit found in many of their stories. So many people have founded nonprofits, businesses, political action organizations. My family, my father was an entrepreneur as well. So I came up in a family, I think, with a very similar drive to create new things. Tonight, I look forward to hearing the stories of these 25 distinguished honorees. May we strive to continue their work to better our communities through innovation and service, leaning on one another in times of need, and sharing with each other in times of celebration. Thank you again to the Asian Times for having me tonight. And once more, congratulations to the honorees.
So, let's start, ladies and gentlemen, with our first honoree, none other than Natalie L. Ammons. Now, Natalie's been employed by the Georgia Bureau of Investigation. She's GBI. She is the 5-0 for 27 years. She's currently the Deputy Director of Public Affairs, appointed in June in 2018. She assists the Public Affairs Director coordinating all aspects of media and public relations for GPI. She is a proud representative of the African American and Asian American communities. Check her out. She does in her public service and her personal life. Her mother is from the Philippines and immigrated at a young age with her parents and 2 siblings in San Francisco. And as you can tell, you look like me too. And it is a beautiful thing. I want you to big round of applause, Deputy Director of Public Affairs, Georgia Bureau of Investigation, Natalie Ammons.
evening, everyone. I'm very honored to be here with you tonight. First, I'd like to thank my friend Cheryl Kay, another honoree this evening, who nominated me for this distinction. Every year, I enjoy the festivities for AAPI Heritage Month in May, so I was excited for it to start. So on April 30th, on the eve of the month, it was extra special to be notified that I'd received this award. I'm truly humbled to be included in such a distinguished group. At such a pivotal time in history where race and cultures are being attacked, representation matters. I will have 28 years of public service to the state of Georgia on August 1st, and I have always prided myself in representing both the Asian American and African American communities. Sometimes being the only Black or Asian or even woman in a room, I don't take for granted that I have an opportunity to have a seat at many tables and my voice be heard. I'm a strong advocate for diversity, inclusion, and accessibility. Everyone should have the same opportunities and not be limited in their abilities by their zip code or economic status. Network gap is real. It's the advantage that others have that some have over others as a result of who they know. Some don't have the same accessibility networks that some others do. I'm not a college graduate, and although I do not have a true struggle story, I grew up in very modest, mid-income America, and I stand before you today as an influential Asian American. Therefore, in my position, I will always open my network up to anyone that asks in an effort to close the network gap. Once again, representation matters. I also want to thank my mother, an immigrant from the Philippines, and my dad, who's here with me tonight, for instilling. For instilling in me the utmost integrity and a strong work ethic that has carried me through life today. Finally, I'd like to thank the Philam community in Georgia who has adopted me because all of my Filipino family is on the West Coast. My aunties Dodie Ward and Dee Dee O'Connor, both recipients of this award in 2010 and 2011, are here with me tonight as well. Each year, our Philippine Independence Day celebration, or Kalayaan, where I'm a committee member, continues to grow as we share our culture with the Southeast. Thank you.
Wonderful honorees. Our next honoree, Sean Sun Won Kim. Come on down. He's the founder of Supreme Wireless and Apple Software Company, regional director for Next Generation of World OKTA, which stands for Overseas Korean Traders Association. He's dedicated himself on the growth of young generation to participate with various careers, young Korean Americans between 21 and 40. And he's helping them get careers from CEOs, students, contributed his own budget and time, building a strong foundation, the OKTA Next Generation chapter in North America, making opportunities for young folks. Is Sean Sun Won Kim. Come on over here. Congratulations.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm tremendously pleased and honored to be accepting such a prestigious and important award, GAT25, Most Influential Asian American. And I would like to give very special thanks to JojiaAsianTimes for selecting me. And thank you all so much for being here to share in this occasion. This is not something that I did alone, and there are many others who deserve to share this award within the World OKTA Next Generation Group. From the crew here in Atlanta to our team all around North America, who have made incredible contribution to Korean American next generation leaders' growth. You guys are the real inspiration. Long ago, when I first started my business in my 20s, there was no one for me to ask help from. At that time, I luckily joined World OKTA, where I met good mentors and received support and advice. And as time passed, I was able to help them just as I received support. My passion is to grow the next generation as business leaders. I will continue to support the young professionals when they grow as leaders. A virtuous cycle will continue to be created so that the next generation can lead the future as business leaders. Also, thank you to Team Spring Wireless and our new startup, Apple software company, for always being the best. Finally, my appreciation goes to my family, my wife, Anne, and my son, Ashton, for their love and support. I will continue my efforts to grow the next generation leaders network and look forward to bringing about positive changes for many years to come. I'm humbled and I'm appreciated. Thank you and good night.